We started.
Yeah. Back again. Episode 5.
4, 5.
3,
Yeah, this is 4.
2,
Well, my
1.
second Kelly.
Well, we started at 0.
That's right.
So,
So, technically, this is the 5th episode,
Told you.
but
bite me. No, it's episode 4. Fuck you. All right, Zach. For our listeners, we got our friend Zach here, and we also got a face cam, so you can see our ugly mugs. Leave in the comments if you want to continue to see our faces, or if you want to go back just to our ugly ass logo.
I already know what you're going to say, Aaron Johnson. Adam Johnson.
Shut the fuck up, Nick. Please, for the love of God, I hate him. I hate you. I wish.
How could you hate our number one fan? He leaves a comment every episode.
If it was legal to strangle you, I would. If it was legal to strangle you. Anyway, today's topic, which is...
I mean, it is legal depending on the context of the strangling.
Nick, it hit me in the face so I can legally kill you.
No.
Damn it. Anyway.
I was meaning a different context.
Whatever.
Whoa,
anyway.
whoa,
Hey.
This is where we tell all the children to leave the room.
No child will ever see this. All right, so Zach. This is our guest, Zach, and he is going to talk to us on our topic of D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. Yes,
Or,
we are nerds.
The logo, Rooms and Lizards.
I like businessmen and businesses.
Businessmen and businesses?
Yeah.
What about houses and geckos?
For
houses and geckos. You mean geckos and car insurance?
Geckos and cars.
douches and dysfunctional.
What now?
What?
I thought it stood for douchebags and dysfunction.
Oh,
I can
Zach
speak.
trying to come up with funnies.
Anyway. So this topic, which is Dungeons and Dragons, we're going to talk about our stories from Dungeons and Dragons. I know everyone liked our commentary on capitalism last week, so thanks everyone who watched.
It was quite a killer piece.
Even though the topic was feminism. So,
It don't matter.
yeah, what the fuck's the topic?
Yeah, that's right.
So, we're going to start off with some stories. So, Nick, do you want to start us off? Or Zachary, would you like to start us off today?
Well, I've been here since the beginning, so we're going to let our dear
I'm
boy...
worried for if Nick starts, because it might bring back PTSD.
We have a lot of PTSDs.
You're the one that let that happen, my boy.
So-
Just a mere
so-
mastermind that allows things to go forth.
But just because I
So, do you want to tell us any stories from your Dungeons and Dragons experiences? Maybe the hell me or Nick or Victoria have put you through? Funniest moments? Highlights?
Best campaign you've ever played,
Which is mine?
which is mine.
no fighting you two over who had a better campaign.
I did. You even
I
like
know
Mike.
I did. No,
you like
no,
Mike.
I really liked his campaign. I love
I did. I like.
I'm a little bit of a
Most
masochist.
people's campaign.
He would torture my character. Like, my character got burned all the way up. He was scarred, but I loved it. Loved every moment of it.
Yeah,
It was the only campaign I ever had a full player death in.
yeah. So I think I remember a story with you in it, Zach. Has to do with you failing to commit suicide.
That's right.
It's the constant
The one time
thing
when
you
your
were
roll
trying to
was
say
super
no. Constantly.
So do you want to tell us that story?
Alright, so we were doing so Cole was running a campaign centered around Moth Hunt. So it had a lot of realism in it.
Like I had a guy
And-
first session die of dysentery.
Oh,
Yeah.
poor D.
It was mixed with the Oregon Trail as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
I ended up with an axe in my back about 2, maybe 3 sessions ago.
Yeah, it was the third session.
Yeah, it was session
Yeah.
3.
Remember, I kept a log in it because my character had a journal he would write in.
Yes. This caused me to end up with
Tetanus.
Tinnitus?
Tetanus.
Tetanus.
Tinnitus.
Yeah.
Isn't
Not
that-
ringing of the ears.
Yeah,
but
tinnitus
rock
is
joint.
ringing ears. I just imagine I got stabbed in the back and I could just hear ringing.
It's just constant disadvantage on perception checks based on hearing.
Turns out, like, there was a bell at the back of the axe that got stabbed in
You
your
just
back.
keep shaking it,
He
and
keeps
it's like-
shaking, and that's
Yeah.
where the ring.
So,
I didn't get tetanus. I got tinnitus. Just all the time. Oh god. Oh, my tinnitus is me. Oh god, my tinnitus. Oh, Jewish grandpa's gonna be here all day. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Shall we talk about shimishakas?
Shit.
Let me pull out the tongue.
Retarded.
but so
Or the crudgel.
yeah, I ended up with tetanus,
Tetanus.
and one of the party members tried to help, but it actually kind of slightly worsened it.
Didn't D try to like kill you quick, but
Yeah.
he
No.
managed.
He missed.
He missed.
He missed.
No, he tried to do a medicine check. He was not trained in medicine.
Oh, that's right. He did like 3 or 4 medicine checks, and he just made the situation worse.
It's
I think
funny.
he eventually bought you a day, but that's all he bought you.
It's really funny because Malcolm
No,
was
I
trained in
had a
medicine.
few days because he didn't do multiple because I stopped him
Oh yeah, he was gonna do one. And you're like, hey, this might kill him.
because he was failing.
Why didn't y'all have Malcolm
Ah.
do it? I'm trying to remember why.
Malcolm was the
But-
name of Nick's character, by the way.
Yeah. But eventually, he just kept getting worse. Eventually, he ended up in a position where it was not looking like it was going to survive. He even ended up breaking his leg.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Broke his legs. What was it? Trying to cross quicksand?
Trying to cross quicksand with a fallen tree.
Yep. Broke his leg. So then I decided he was going to go out on his own terms. So he cut open his stomach,
You're
And
getting
you
too
did-
giddy about this, man. I'm getting kind of worried.
and he didn't die from that.
You didn't deal enough damage to yourself to actually end it. So
Yeah.
I think he
you're
only
just
rolled a 1, didn't he, on his damage?
yeah, you like got like 1 damage, and you were just sitting there.
All while Malcolm's
Eviscerated.
watching all of this.
It took multiple tries to kill him.
Kind of makes you think what would happen if you actually just kept going with him. See how far he could make it, because he's having this much struggle dying as is.
No, like, he would have made it to the
Yeah.
town.
Yeah, he would.
If
He would have made. You
the
would have
worst-
made it to the town. It would have gotten
Yeah.
treatment.
The worst part was he would have made it to the town if we had just kept going. And well, to be fair though, that town had pretty shitty doctors.
Yeah,
Yeah. They did.
bunch of tabaxis who just put casts on people.
He killed D's like second character.
Yeah. Didn't we lose?
They
We
tightened
lost
the cast too
either
much.
one of these characters, or one of these characters through that, and that's when we learned that they are bad doctors.
Yeah,
I like how Malcolm was the only one that started out from like session 0 all the way until like we ended up stop playing.
man, I would love to start that campaign back up again. I just need more
Yeah.
people.
I want to see how long I can make Malcolm last. He's like basically like a piece of flesh wrapped into like some bacon.
He constantly smells like bacon.
Constantly.
He looks like the
Oh my
Birdman from
God.
Fallout New Vegas.
Oh my god! If he was an orc, he definitely would smell like bacon.
Oh my god, he's,
He's
right.
He's right.
Because orcs are pig people.
Pig people.
In multiple work depictions, they're always depicted as pig people.
Yeah. Except for in Tolkien's original work, they're like depicted as more of like Eastern type folks with sallow and yellow skin.
I've never read anything from Tolkien.
And original Tolkien stuff. Not the movies. The movies, they basically took that sickly pallor look that was described in the books and turned it into like something else, which is what we all know and love as modern orcs today.
I still never watched any Tolkien film or read the book.
How have you not seen like any of Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit? How have you not?
I have mostly lived off of anime and very few cartoons, such as Phineas and
I
Ferb.
know our next thing. The next time we have him on the podcast, we're kidnapping him and we're gonna force him to watch all of the Lord of the Rings.
All of the Lord of the Rings, the director's
That's
cut
the
version
director's
too.
cut.
So 12 hours of video.
That concerns me, given the fact you do work at the Hernando one.
At the Hernando what?
The Hernando Auto Parts /Stone.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he no longer works there.
Yeah,
by
I
the way.
don't work in Hernando anymore. I work down in Sardis now.
I did not know that.
Yeah. I got promoted to a manager and they moved me down down there south, you know?
Down further south, sir.
That hurt.
All right. But we're gonna move on to our next story. Nick, do you want to take it or do you want me to take it? I got several stories of past adventures.
I'm trying to think.
I mean, I could tell the story of how Vivian, you remember Vivian, killed Oberon.
Who?
He's talking about the demon that they.
Vivian, Hogwarts campaign.
Oh yeah, I remember that campaign.
Yeah. Vivian, the fucking, my character who patron was the literal devil, killed Oberon.
Who is Oberon again?
King of the Fae.
King.
King of the Fae. Okay.
Okay.
Thomas Hudson.
Neat.
Well, go further. You done open up
yeah,
the door. Don't you done
yeah.
drop one shoe, let the other one hit the floor too.
What the fuck?
You've never heard that saying before?
No,
I haven't heard that. Nick, you just say shit sometimes, and it's
and it turns out to be true.
and it's like a coin flip to see whether or not it's real or it just dribble that comes out of your mouth. Because most of the time it's dribble.
Not necessarily. I was right about the microchimerism, remember?
Yeah, don't tell me.
I was also right about the guys with the bullet hands in Brazil.
Yeah, I know. I hate it when you're right. Because you never live it down.
wonder
That's right.
about Nick. But that's just because he speaks in riddles. He is Memsois the moon god.
Speaking riddles.
Speaking.
You're the guy who talks to Moon Knight, aren't you?
How'd you know?
You are literally just the moon, and you just speak to this mentally ill person, telling him to go beat up people and take money from Dracula.
I mean, I get bored sometimes, and this guy, I mean...
This mentally ill person who kicks people's butts.
I mean, it's a more humane version of bum fights.
Bum
Pumpkin pie.
Oh.
What'd you say?
I said pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin pie.
What?
Yep.
What? What are you referencing?
Nothing.
Okay. You just want some pumpkin
Same
pie.
pumpkin pie.
Okay.
It's a Zach mannerism.
Well, pumpkin pie is in the kitchen, man. You gotta go get it.
We're not allowed to use the kitchens at the dorms.
What?
The incident.
How incident? What incident? Tell me about
What'd
this
you do
incident.
this time?
What did you do? Who did you hurt this time?
It's
Who did you
called
kill?
COVID-13.
Oh, COVID.
Oh, the Rona.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
They
they're
don't
not.
let you
Oh.
use,
So do you
kitchen
like have
since,
communal kitchen where you
COVID.
live, or do you not have like kitchens in your actual dorm room?
So, what they've
There are
done
kitchens,
then...
but we're not allowed to use them.
So in order to eat, they've done injected y'all with some like new fancy chloroform. So you just go outside and photosynthesize. Where you're like,
No.
You mean
but
chlorophyll?
We can't
yeah,
make our own
chloroform.
food
You know, to knock folks out,
unless it's like
so they can
microwavable.
photosynthesize. Right? Yes.
I'll be honest, I don't know, Nick.
You don't know. They possibly could have. You just don't know anymore.
I mean, he is looking a little bit green around the gills.
Green. Nick.
It's just it's Nick's mannerisms.
Nick's mannerisms.
My antics.
Well, I've got a D&D story. Back to the topic.
Oh.
The fuck is that anyway?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's rooms and lizards.
Rooms and lizards. Oh yeah, rooms and lizards.
Houses and geckos.
Yeah. So I have this story. This is back when I was at boarding school and we were playing D&D. I was playing a druid character, so he's like a magic guy who does stuff with sticks, and that's the best way I can ever describe a druid. Stick person.
Here's another way to describe a druid: a furry.
I wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't go that far. Not all of them turn into animals. Some of them do, and those guys.
But they all have the ability to.
Yeah.
More like a hippie.
More. Yeah. Well.
And supposedly, maybe, perhaps.
What so what are fucking dragonborn? Are they furries? What?
They're scalies.
No,
There's
they're-
Oh
Scaly.
yeah, that's a thing.
yeah, they're scalies. I once knew a scaly. He was a really interesting guy. He was also a pyro. You know him too, but we shall keep his name up.
Oh, I know who you're talking. Oh my god.
Really liked Melina too.
who?
Girl with the fangs.
Girl
Mortal
with-
Kombat with the size.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I was playing a druid, and there was a kid there, and it was
If
his
you
first.
watching, brother, love you.
Uh, you're just hoping he's watching.
Oh, I know he watches.
You know he watches.
Yeah, he's like, when's the next podcast, bro? When's the next podcast?
That's just you, Nick. That's just you and Adam Johnson. Shut up. Anyway, it was this kid's first time being a dungeon master, and everyone's first time is always a disaster. Regardless of how much you planned, regardless of how much effort you put into it, everyone's first time is a disaster. And
Sir.
Yeah.
the majority of the time, unless you know you're some sort of wordsmith
Very good at
crafter.
popping the D&D cherry.
Eh. What?
You heard me.
No, I didn't.
What?
Okay,
Not accurate.
you've been hanging around
I think
Park
that
way
would have
too
had
much.
an aneurysm or conniption.
I've already had like 7 aneurysms. I got like 6 stomas, 7 aneurysms, and like look.
Got that vein popping. Like,
I would not be surprised.
No, I
if
had
you
to have it removed.
Yeah, I would not
Oh,
be
you had to have it
surprised if you had a
removed?
kidney stone as well.
be like my father has a metal plate in his head because he had an aneurysm.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's depressing.
No, not really. I mean, he survived.
I mean, yeah, but now now he can't go around magnets. Now every time he goes to the airport, he gets beeped every time he goes.
Oh yeah, it's pretty neat because when he gets X-rays, it has serial numbers in there, and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm a government experiment."
But anyway, I'm notorious in D&D for seeing the rails the DM creates, putting my foot on the track and kicking the train off a cliff.
That's why I have no rails.
Yes. That's you're difficult. I can find a way, but you're difficult. Anyway, but like I had a druid and he has like your characters have personality traits, flaws, ideals and stuff like that. One of his flaws, which is one of my actual flaws in real life, is if there's a plan, I'll forget it. If I don't forget it, I'll ignore it. So it was like, this was session 1, and we started off with like 3rd level characters. So essentially, we got ambushed by goblins. That's like a staple in all D&D. Goblins are like your tier 1 enemy, unless you're me and you hate people, then you make them your tier 10 enemy. But that's besides the point. So these goblins, they came up, and my character was the one that killed all of them. I ended up turning into a bear, slashing one guy's throat out, biting the head off of another one, and then I turned back into a person and I started torturing this one goblin. I did it, and like I went on, and like essentially I started torturing him, and I got my cleric, the cleric of the party, to constantly heal the goblin so I wouldn't kill him. And like I broke each individual limb. I like described how I was doing that, and then I tied a rope around its neck, took it the back of our cart, and took a gold piece, put it to his head, and cast heat metal. So I was
Nice.
branding him, And I legitimately, because I was going on for about 30 minutes with doing this. I used up all of our cleric's healing spells. And like he was about to give us information, and I got this clarified by our DM later. But then I said, fuck it, and I snapped his neck. And I look up and I see everyone around the table. They look pissed. And like, I legitimately got bored and forgot what I was doing. So I just ended up killing him. And like the cleric, get your feet off my pillow. That's where my head goes. Anyway,
he wants you to smell your. But he wants you.
I don't want to smell it though.
Smelling his feet.
But everyone's pissed. Our cleric especially. And he never played D&D after that day again.
Oh, you never did?
No, because he was so pissed
You ruined
that I
his D&D.
yeah, I did.
Oh.
But I think it's hilarious. I love that story. But that was one of my first, one of my oldest stories I can remember. Besides a few of your campaigns, you, me, and Xavier boy.
Boy Xavier. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, that reminds me of when I made a scenario or whatever in one of our campaigns. It wasn't like the campaign based off it, but I had like a nightmare, and I decided to be like, yeah, I'm gonna make that a D&D session. And so I had y'all investigate like this like mining world or whatever, because I think we're doing Spelljammer or something.
Something like that.
Something like that. And y'all like went to like this place because like miners are going missing, and it turns out that it was a massive wasp nest underground. And so y'all go through, and like I'm describing like the caves and the mines as like humming and having like air rushing in and rushing out as the wasps are fanning and bringing oxygen into the hive. And then y'all like all stumble upon it, and they all rush out and swarm out of the thing. And like your character, I think was a dwarf at the time.
No, it was a drow.
Oh, it was a drow. I think Xavier's was somebody hid underneath a shield.
I did. Yeah, I did. I was holding my shield up, my body shield, to protect my entire body because everyone else bounced. And I was stuck in the cave, so they just kept flying over me. I didn't get hurt because I hit the deck and stayed as still as possible, hiding under my brass armor. And everyone else started getting swarmed by these wasps. Moral of the story is, when you see a bunch of wasps, try to stay as calm as possible. Don't run away.
I had some NPCs that were pretty weird too, because like they had wasp hives inside their lungs. Like they had basically been like taken over by these wasps. They're basically zombies with like these sentient hives piloting them. And so it was pretty neat because if y'all would have failed a Constitution save, y'all would have turned into one of those things.
God. Oh God. You got another story, Zach?
I mean, I could tell how Vivian killed Oberon.
Go for it.
I thought you already did.
Yeah, he did. She said she killed him.
Yeah, I didn't say how.
That's how he died.
That's how he dies.
That's how you die. You get killed. Otter, where'd you go? I see the corner of your roof.
Water.
Don't run away from me, boy. You know how that does me.
What?
I'm not a child.
It triggers my predator instincts. Better not run from me.
Nick, you just vocally on a podcast called yourself a predator. I see. We have a light.
Interesting. Tell us
Yeah,
more light.
it's the light of God.
It's like the moth. It's like lamp.
Lamp. We're old. We are old. That meme was like 2 years ago. But you and I are still.
it?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm old.
So like I feel I've never felt more out of touch with our generation than now, because like people are doing like this like lemons.
Yeah, what's up with like this like a shee, and then they're like,
yeah, it's like
what's up with that?
Like I see that and I think, man, you kids are stupid, and I'm like, wow, I'm really old and I don't need to be this old.
This is coming from the generation that ate Tide Pods.
Sadly true. Anyway.
Oh, don't zone out on us. Stay with us. Stay with us, Zach. Boop, boop.
I'm here.
No!
His EKG flatlines.
Snake. Oh,
Major Onslaught.
but
Shadow Empress is coming.
another, I think that was a fun campaign. Was my brain just died. It does that sometimes, folks. My brain just goes, ha! You have a thought? Go fuck yourself.
Describe it. I might have been in it.
I can't. My brain died, Nick.
Oh, okay. How'd y'all like my campaign that we ran for like a year?
Which campaign was that? That's so many.
Kinshi.
Oh, the Kenshi campaign. That was a campaign.
That was a good campaign.
Also, we actually have another guest arriving here today, Otter.
Oh, yeah.
You may remember him.
Yeah, you remember him quite fondly. You should, anyway. But
Here he is.
yeah, let me go get him. You ready? You ready? Let me go get him. Hey, little George, are you here?
I hate you. I hate you both.
You picked the topic,
Can I
so
help
I don't
you?
see how you were going to avoid this. Did you think you were going to get out of this clean?
No.
So this campaign we played, it's called Kenshi. It's based off of a video game, and Nick came up with the mechanics himself.
Oh yeah, I wrote the whole entire mechanics myself.
Yeah, and he could have easily done D&D mechanics, but he said, "Fuck that, that's too easy." Fuck it, it makes way too much sense to just go with what something has already been made. Guy, you just go back.
That's part of the fun being a DM is coming up with the new mechanics.
Anyway, and it's based around the game Kenshi, which is like a desert thing from what I can tell. I haven't played it.
You haven't played it?
But like we had a thing where we could rank up skills, and it had like psionics in it and stuff like that. Well, we met a psionic person who could grant wishes, essentially, and you had character races who were, like you could have like essentially they were like legitimate races. So you had like Asian people, white people, but then you also had like skeletons, which weren't like actual skeletons. They were robots that they called skeletons, which I think is really weird. Just call them robots. But fuck you. Anyway, Otter decided he wanted to be a harem maker. Anyway, you remember that, right? Right, Zach? Zachariah?
He
Right?
had to live out his fantasies.
He wanted to be a harem maker, but he was a robot.
He
so
also
he
wanted to
couldn't
create life.
Yeah.
But robots cannot create life.
So yeah, he didn't have a dick, so he wished for a penis. Like an idiot. Like
From a guy that wasn't really y'all's ally. Y'all just stumble upon him.
he wished for this, and so like, and this thing like drank blood, and like Nick, honestly, Zach here, he had a weird idea, but you're even weirder for coming up with these things. I'm just now thinking about that. Like, yeah, he had a concept, but you took that concept, you nurtured it, let it grow, and then you shoved it into the sun to see it explode.
Exactly.
You know what,
So,
Zach? I've been giving you too much shit. Nick,
So,
the fuck is wrong with you?
well, in my world, it has to, like, logically exist for some reason, so it needed, like, a digestive system.
So
It needed, like,
it had to have a digestive system because Zach's character couldn't have a digestive system because he was a robot.
He was synthetic, and little George was organic.
Anyway,
And thus,
we killed it.
he would get hungry, and he would slap himself against Ultima and be
So-
like, "Feed me."
So we tried to kill it, and
She's about to cry.
and there was like, and it like laid eggs, and like, Nick again, the fuck, it laid eggs, and then they were going everywhere.
I told you it's a railless campaign because I had no idea that none of this was going to happen. I just
Yeah.
rolled with it.
You-
It just started coming out of my head. I was like,
But anyway, he got another one that was much stronger, and
no, it was the same one.
no, because we killed that one. Remember?
No, y'all threw it into the void.
No,
and it
we
didn't
killed
die.
we killed the original one, and one of the eggs latched onto him and grew up, who was little George.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
the original one died, but its eggs lived on him. Anyway,
He infected, like,
this
the whole
created like a
region.
pandemic, and
Which is funny because that happened right before the actual pandemic
Yes.
IRL happened.
But anyway,
actually happened during.
we found a portal to like the void, so like he had like Cthulhu shit here too, which was connected to psionics, and me and another one of our friends thought it would be a good idea to get rid of the dick, so we threw it into the void.
Cronin dick, as we called it.
Yeah, we called it the Cronin dick. And it ended up becoming our big bad end game. That my character ended up killing
Sacrifice
themselves
herself.
in order to, stop it from being our big bad end game.
That's still my favorite campaign that I've ever ran so far.
But, and then there was like a god with pineapples, but we're not gonna get into that. I mean, we could, but
The fucking guy with pineapples! Created the penis.
the god of creation. That's right. The god of pineapples created the Cronin dick.
He did.
Oh my god. How do we? How are we still alive? I'm not talking about like in D&D. I'm talking about in like real life. You
Sheer
think-
will and commitment.
No.
Something's
sheer-
watching out for us.
Yeah, watching out, sure. Watching out for the destruction of humankind.
We're angels of chaos.
I would.
Oh,
I just want to watch and wait till Nick somehow kills every human.
oh man.
I swear he might actually be the child of Cthulhu. It would not surprise me.
Nick, stop it. Stop it. Oh my god.
What is it? It's Garfskremden Rimdelayer.
What are you? Why are you speaking in tongues? I need an exorcist.
No, you don't.
I need 2 exorcists, really.
No, you
He
don't.
is an exorcist.
I'm all you need.
My cousin is a legitimate priest.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He got an online priesthood that's not valid. There's only 2 states where it's not valid. It's like
Really?
West Virginia and Tennessee. That's the only 2 states where he can't preside over a funeral, a wedding, or like something else. But he's like a priest.
Wow. That's funny.
Saddens me is the fact
that,
that Nick
is
is,
that,
a priest, isn't
What's
he?
her face's brother?
At least
Yeah,
he-
that's what I thought it was.
What was that, Otter?
Isn't Nick actually a fucking priest as well?
Are you a priest?
Something similar to
You're a
it.
priest of chaos. That's what you are. You're a priest of being a pain in my ass.
A priest of pain.
A priest of
He's a
pain.
priest of pain in everyone's
What was it? It's like
ass.
Episcopalian, but I'm Episcopanian.
Episcopalian. I'm Episcopalian. Oh, that sounds like a shitty '80s
Movie.
The Episcopalian coming to theaters near you.
It's rated NR, not rated.
I never got that. This rating is not rated. What? You just rated it.
It just means that they were too poor to actually have it rated.
No, I thought it meant like it was worse than R. I thought like it meant
Sometimes
it was
it can
so
be.
bad that like
One or two
like
reasons
some
happen
sort of
when
snuff
that happens.
film.
One or two reasons happens when that occurs. It's either A, the studio that makes it is too poor to actually afford to get it rated, or B, the studio has made that movie so what's the word, harsh upon the
Gratuitous?
eyes that they don't want to get it rated because it has too much particular events and scenes in it. Like snuggle struggles, I guess you could say.
Snuggle struggle.
Yep.
Oh my god, snuggle struggle. That's the
Sounds like a
dumbest thing that's
porno.
ever come out of your mouth.
That's a fact.
Snuggle struggle. And I know it's an actual thing, but coming from you,
It's a snuggle with a struggle, baby.
A
snuggle
lot of things sound made up when they come from Nick's mouth.
that is true. About 90% of the stuff you say,
It's actually factual.
which is like a staggering amount, but like the other stuff is just dribble. Like you're smart until you're dumb, but you really actually no, you're dumb until you're smart.
I'm like Alex Jones. I'm kind of retarded.
You've seen the movie Rain Man, right?
Yeah.
You're like him, but in reverse. You're a functioning human being until it comes to like anything else, like being practical. Then you just die in the mind on the inside.
You're not wrong. Like when I'm trying to explain something in the machine shop, I start stuttering. I'm like, and the thing goes brr, and they're like,
the thing goes burr.
and they're like, what you talking about, chops?
Which thing? Which thing goes burr?
And I'm like, that thing right there.
Are you wearing burst, sir?
And then you're just like pointing in like an open field. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about that giant lathe out in the middle of the field. There ain't no lathe there, Nick. What are you talking about? It's
And
right there.
then you just like go on like a 20-mile hike, and then there's just a lathe sitting in the middle of the field, and everyone's like, "Son of a bitch,
He's right.
How did you see that?" He's like, "I just know.
I just know.
Oh my gosh.
You got any events like that happened to you, Zach?
Nope.
No.
No?
Nothing. Oh man.
Well, my life is a suffering.
Oh, my life is so. Well put, buddy. Well put.
So, let's talk about our very first D&D sessions. Our very,
Our very
first. Where we popped our D&D cherries.
Where we popped our D. All right, Otter. Where did you pop your D&D cherry? Who popped your cherry, Otter? I want you to say their name out loud.
I'm not going to
Ju-
phrase it
say,
like
very
that.
say,
sultry voice,
say their
please.
name. I just want. If anyone
I'm
hears,
not going to phrase it like that.
say their
Anyway.
name. Say their name.
He looks back in a distance moon.
The person that DM'd the first campaign I ever played in was Victoria.
Oh, really?
Victoria. Oh, man, how was that campaign?
It never got completed.
Never got completed.
That
Wow.
sounds like about 90% of all of our campaigns. They just never complete. Our schedules are bad, or we just move on to another
y'all
one.
completed the Kenshi one. We just went to like story arc 2 or whatever. And I
We just
ran out of
it's like
juice.
JoJo. When our characters die, we just go on to the next generation.
That's exactly
That's
right.
exactly what happened.
But the original, that we still had one original. Oh God!
We did
It
have
is
one
like
original.
JoJo. Holy shit! Think about it. Stardust Crusaders.
What?
What?
Okay, so
Yeah, Oh, I see what you're doing. You were getting your idea in your head, and you were articulating it, and then you just put. He was like doing a Kamehameha, but with his brain.
With its brain. You gotta watch out. That's how you pop him. Not hemorrhoids,
okay,
but
so
aneurysms.
Jonathan Joestar, character from the previous generation.
Right.
Everybody else in Stardust Crusaders, new characters. Kenshi campaign. Barrett's character.
Actually, no.
Everybody else was new characters.
Barrick's character wasn't the only one that didn't change. Ian's character didn't change. He just fucked off into outer space.
He went to the moon.
Fair enough.
He just fucked off into space. He said, "Fuck this place. There's Cronendicks everywhere."
Literally.
This is
And that.
he
and even after they
essentially
were
pulled a
taken
Professor
care of, he
Farnsworth.
never came back.
He pulled a Professor Farnsworth. I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
What the fuck was that?
That was my very
And
poor
then he started living
response.
on the moon
Impressive.
and using its resources for evil.
Evil.
I bet in that world eventually he tried to do what Robot from Invincible did.
From Invincible.
Oh, take over the world and create a utopia?
Are we
Yeah.
talking about Doctor
I'm
Doom?
No.
surprised you know that.
Oh, I freaking love that show, man.
I've only
the
seen like
Invincible
the
show.
I've only seen like the first episode.
I love Omni-Man. He's my favorite character. He's like a Superman, but doesn't shoot lasers or have cold breath. He's just strong and can fly. I like that.
I'm gonna be honest. My favorite character, Robot. He had the right idea.
You know who my favorite character in Deadpool 2 was? Brad Pitt.
Did
Brad
both.
Pitt.
He was Deadpool 2. Brad Pitt was in there. I think it was Brad Pitt. He was the invisible guy that had like no who had like 6 seconds of screen time. That Brad Pitt legitimately did like the actually was in there, but they made his character completely invisible and didn't have any lines. And he got paid like a cup of coffee for it. Oh man, I think this is like the dumbest fact I know about that movie. Okay. God, my brain died again. What's with my brain and dying? I've been working too much this week. My brain's,
Yeah,
my
you only
brain's-
got one day off because you decided to work at Tunica.
Yeah, I know. But I always feel bad saying no. I'm like you, but when it comes to work. Like, we have a story where...
Oh, if you want to go... Okay, so sometimes life is like a video game.
Yeah.
If you seek side quests, go to your local Waffle House at
Serious.
3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, we had... Me and Nick, we had a legitimate side quest.
Yes, we did.
We went to Waffle House, and like they were closing late in their store, and because like they had a bunch of stuff that needed to get done, and
The
they
corporos were coming in.
yeah, but we were trying to go to like a hibachi place, but they closed before we could get there. So he's like, but next best place is Waffle House. Well, they were only taking dine-ins, but we were driving up into Waffle House. We see this
Takeouts,
one.
not dine-ins.
Oh yeah, takeouts. Potato.
No. Like dine-ins probably would have came in our favor.
Yeah, it probably would have helped. But there's this one lady in the window. She was like moving her hands, just going like no, and we were like, oh.
We're
wow.
like, what's this woman's problem?
And we pull up, and and this other lady runs out, and she's
happy
like,
to see us, like delighted to see us. We have another guy in my car, and it's like I was thinking maybe he knows her, or maybe like she's his kin or something. No.
so we get out, and she's like, I need help. I need a ride. This guy gave me a ride here to this Waffle House, and then he took off with all my stuff in his vehicle. She's like, I live hotel to hotel, and I'm like, okay. And like we were in Nick's car.
The
And
old caddy.
yeah, the caddy. And this woman, she is she's almost hysterical. Like she was on the brink of tears.
It was a
But
real
she's-
pitiful display.
Yeah, and she was like begging for a ride. And Nick looks to me as if to say, please God, say no. And then I said, Nick, it's up to you.
And then I looked
Then
at
he
I
looked-
looked at the other guy.
And then you as
And he
if to
doesn't- he
say,
has
please
nothing.
God. And he says nothing.
I'm like,
So Nick goes, yes, we can give you a ride. And like Nick then looks to me and he's like, you want to come along, as if to beg me to come. Like I've never seen you so desperate before in my life. You were essentially begging someone to come with you. The other guy decided to bail. He decided.
oh, he
to
wanted to
bail.
go, but he knew his mother was gonna throw a conniption fit.
You know, he says that, but I wanted to bail too. But I was like, I'm not gonna leave my man's out here.
Well, to be honest, what she said, the hotel, and then she pointed like right across the street, so I thought it was gonna be pretty close.
Like a 5-minute drive. It ended up like an hour and a half drive.
All the way in freaking Nashville.
Yeah, we went all the way to Tennessee from where we are. And anyway,
Atkins called it too.
yeah, we went in and we got our order from Waffle House. And then we go out to her car and in the car and we're
Hold
waiting
up,
for
hold-
her.
hold- let's reverse just a little bit. All right, so another reason why we agreed is because she said she would pay us, right? So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, easy money. A drop in a delivery service, I guess you could say. Go to point A, go to point B, and then drop off. So I was like, yeah, we can do that. Just let us go get our food first. And she's like, yeah, well, I can do that. I'll wait. So we go in there, and I was hoping, because she said the guy was supposed to be coming back, the guy that took her stuff. And so I was hoping, yeah, we'll eat, and by the time we get done eating, the guy that took her stuff would come back and pick her up. No, I go in there, there's only one dude, he's like, oh yeah, there's only just me, and we're doing takeout. And I was like, uh-oh. So while we're waiting, our boy Atkins, he's like, yo, did you actually hear what she said? And I was like, yeah, she said she would pay us. He's like, no, no, no. This is what she actually said. And he's like, I will pay you or do anything. And he's like, yo, she's a hooker. And I was like, no.
Straight up. Straight up. He straight up called it.
Yeah.
He freaking called
So
it.
she got in the car and she's like, I actually need to go by my mom's house, and we're like, oh great. But Atkins, he was like holding up conversation with her. So he's like, what do you do for a living?
Oh, no. Hold on. She says, yeah, I usually don't meet so nice guys in my profession. I look in the rearview mirror. This guy is smirking. He has like this like eat feces looking grin. You know?
Shit eating grin.
Yeah. And then he's like, so what's your profession? And she goes, I'm an escort.
I'm an escort. It dawned on me and Nick. We were like, I think simultaneously we were like,
We looked at each other. We're like,
yeah. And
like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah, 100%. And like, so we don't even end up dropping our friend off at his house. He has us drop her off like 3 blocks over from his house.
Makes us do a complete circle around the town.
Yeah, seriously. So this woman has no idea where he lives, which was probably a smart idea. But we ended up taking her to her mom's house because she's like, my mom has a bunch of money, and she's like begging for our phones this entire time. And we were like super hesitant, and we're
getting on my last nerve. She's like, how can you find contact somebody? How can you find contact somebody? I just need to contact somebody.
And like we're essentially trying to say no, we're good. But anyway, we inevitably get to her mother's house. She gets out of the car, and we're like, okay, she's gonna go grab money. And then, as a sigh of relief, we both start laughing because
like,
this woman could have essentially just brought us to our doom. She 100% could have gone, you know what? I'm gonna bring you to a place where there have guns, or where there are drugs, and we're gonna traffic you into sex slavery. And that was like 100% a possibility. Thank God she actually went to her mother's house.
And there was 2 of us. It would take a hard time taking 2 of us down.
Yeah, well, not if there's a lot of them and they have guns.
I don't know. I can tell you. I can stop a bullet.
Once, yeah.
I would believe Nick
No, you can stop several if they shoot you in your legs.
Okay, 2.
But anyway, she's in there for like 10 minutes, and we're just joking around about the situation. We ended up like playing with like Nick's like fuzzy car dice. Yeah, he has like those fuzzy dice you see in like 70s movies, and they're like knickknacks at this point.
I think I know why she was so excited to see us, because like I have an old '88 Cadillac Seville, and it looks like a pimp mobile, and I have those dice. I think she thought that I was a pimp.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have been a good thing for her, because she had, and this is gonna get to later in the story, but she has a pimp. Anyway, she ended up gets back in the car. She doesn't hand us money, and we're like, okay, now we're taking her to her final destination,
which is supposed to be like the Sinclair View.
No,
hotel.
it was the Sycamore Inn.
The Sycamore View Hotel, yeah.
Anyway,
we did not go there.
No, we did not. She's like all up in our space. She has undone her bra.
I don't know when she did.
Yeah, I have no clue. But her, like, she had to beg her mom for like money, and her mom only gave her like $180. No, like 320.
It's $318.76. I know, because we were going to split that money.
and
the Jew in me is still
prevalent. Anyway, we get back in the car and we start driving. She just starts telling us her life story. She unloads her entire life story onto us. She talks about how her relationship with her father is bad.
How she got caught smoking in the Dyke tree
that
was owned by this lesbian couple.
And that's why they call it the Dyke. And like she explains to us like her baby daddy's in jail. She's got 4 kids, and we're like, oh.
How she dropped out of high school and everything.
In her sophomore year because she didn't like it. She dropped the N-word like a few times.
A bunch of times, not a few, a bunch of times.
Yeah, and it was
interesting, let's just say that. But she's like, yeah, I usually don't get to talk this much. Most of my clients are they don't really want me to talk. I was like, well, I guess most of your Johns are really there for one thing, just to acquire what they want and go. And she got upset that I
she
used the
got
word
like
John.
like fucking
She's
offended.
like, I don't have Johns. I have clients, thank you.
And like we're like at this point, how are you? How on any level are you offended by this? You literally sell your body for money. Like, how is this? Why is this where you draw the line?
Like she wasn't even upset that like they were just there for one thing. Like she knew that. She just didn't like the terminology.
Seriously, she knew what you were talking about. But like, I eventually relent because she's like
Oh yeah,
constantly.
pestering.
Constantly, and I eventually relent. And she calls like her credit card company to see how much money is
Everybody.
on. No, she actually only calls 3 people.
Oh really? It
Yeah,
felt,
she
it
only-
felt like she called everybody.
No, she calls like 3 people. She called the credit card company. She tried to call this other person.
Oh, you
and-
got her full social security number.
Yeah, I have her. Like, she gave me her social. I have her entire credit card number in my phone, and I'm not gonna use that because I'm not fucked up. But I think that's just hilarious that just these total strangers that you're doing this to. And she's like in between. She's like in the back seat, and she is like shoved her way into the front seat, and like,
all up on us.
oh, seriously.
Like all up on us, lopping
Eh,
her breasts on us. And it was weird.
Anyway.
It was weird.
She eventually calls this guy, and the conversation starts off like I put the phone on speaker,
And she don't realize.
and
that
she
yet.
doesn't realize it because she tells me to put in the number, so I put in the number and I put it on speaker and I hand it to her, and she doesn't realize it at all because I'm pretty sure she's like. And she's like, I don't do heroin or cocaine or stuff like that. I don't do drugs. And then
Irony's about to hit.
yeah, irony's about to hit hard because she goes and she explains her situation. This person's like, oh, she's contacting a friend about what's going on, and then she goes, anyway, can I get a few Xanax? And you're like, I'm good for it. I'll pay for it. It's like, oh, you don't do heroin.
don't
No,
do
you're
drugs,
not.
do
You're...
you?
And she's like begging this guy for Xanax, and then like you can hear it get
meth ain't meth, huh?
and then you can hear this guy on the phone get pissed, and then
she
we
changes demeanor.
we go from this is her friend to this is her drug
pimp.
dealer. No, this is her drug dealer, and then she takes the phone off a speaker, and then you can hear her go, but I really, yes sir,
No,
yes
sir.
you know,
Thank you, sir. Please, sir.
and then we're like, oh, it's not her drug dealer, it's her pimp.
And drug dealer.
So then now I have a pimp's phone number on my phone, which is like kind of terrifying. But I guess I got the hookup now. Am I cools? Am I cools now, guys? No,
I don't think so.
probably not. Anyway,
she called you a fucking.
No,
She called you a nerd.
she called me. Yeah, she called me a nerd because we were going by this place and it's got a weird name. But and
It's Mount Moriah Road.
and I every time I go by it and drive past that road, I
He's
go
like Moria.
yeah, I was like, oh, it's like a J.R.R. Tolkien kind of shit. But no, it's not. Anyway.
She's like, oh, I know you're a nerd.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, well, thanks.
Wow.
This coming from a prostitute. I didn't say that out loud, but God,
No,
I,
I saw you grit them teeth like you
I
wanted
was
to say
like,
that.
God, I was holding in so much venom for that conversation.
Oh, for some reason we started talking about like the caterpillar brand.
Yeah, like, because like I
It's-
didn't know like cat was short for caterpillar. I thought it was like, oh, they just called themselves cat.
That's the brand that builds those giant like wheeled trucks for like construction and stuff. For those that don't know,
It's not like 6-wheeled. It's like fucking.
like they're huge. Some of them are
Well,
6-wheeled.
Well, most of them are track vehicles. They're like fucking, like tank tracks and shreds and stuff like
Treads.
that.
But she's like, "Oh, I love listening to
Intelligent
intelligent
men.
stuff."
And we were like, we're just talking about the Caterpillar company. And she's like, and then she starts talking about one of her clients, like he's trying to get me help and all of this. And you're like, oh God, this guy,
He's trying to play Captain Savaho for real.
seriously. And we ended up taking her to like this shitty. It was like the Red Roof Inn.
Okay, so like the map said turn right, and she's like, "No, the map's wrong. You're going to turn left." And then we like go into like the middle of like this alleyway, and then another alleyway, and then like there's this huge like corporation building to the left, and like I think a hotel to the right, and then there's this little dinky rinky little motel that's stuck in the middle. And she's like, "That's it. It's the Red Roof Motel."
And go straight through the middle.
And this is what she says: "Go straight through the middle. They'll get the idea." And I'm like, "What does that mean?"
Well,
what does that mean?
we were like, oh god, we're legitimately about to die.
We're gonna get shot up.
Anyway, she eventually gets out of the car, and like as someone who works in retail,
Oh.
my retail thing is like someone's leaving and it's a complete stranger, so I go, have a fantastic day. She looks me dead in the eyes. She's like, I'm about to get beat, and I'm like, okay, yeah. What am I supposed to say
As
to
she's
that?
fixing her bra.
Yeah, as she's re-hooking up her bra, and like then she leaves, and we start leaving, and Nick looks me dead in the eye, and he goes,
Don't ever let me do this.
"Don't
again."
ever let me do it again." I look at him and said, "Nick, I won't, but if we need content, I make no promises." And then we're almost on the road, and then Nick goes, "We didn't get paid," and he's like legit about to turn around, like he's about to go rush in and demand payment from her and her pimp. And I'm like, Nick, no, not right now.
The greed got a hold of me. I don't know what happened.
And then
Chops wanted his money.
but that's where our story ends, as we end the night there.
Our payment was our lives in the story.
We got experience from that side quest.
I guess that makes us level 2.
Level 2. We became level 2.
What's our class? Oh, classless. I don't like that.
Traumatized.
In hotels and hoes.
No, would that make us bards?
It would in fact make you bards.
We're bards.
We're bards.
Hotels and hoes. Oh my god.
Next time we're gonna take you on our IRL quest, side quest. Maybe you'll become a level 3. What would Otter be? What's his class? Not wizard.
Weeaboo.
Weeaboo. Yeah, he's gonna be a weeaboo.
You're gonna be a level 3 weeaboo.
You'll be able to like go. Nothing personal, kid.
The personal kid.
I like how Zach is slowly disappearing
Yeah.
between.
He's
the line.
getting further and further down and away because he's slumping, going down. Just
He's melting.
would say he's like a cat, but
No, he's more of like a
he's more like an otter.
otter.
Yeah. Anyway, Otter, do you have any stories? Because we're almost at the hour mark.
Are we?
Yeah.
I
feel like an
do not
hour.
have any stories.
Wow, it has been an hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
You can see the recording time there. It says 57 minutes.
Wow, we gotta go for the broke. We gotta make that 3 more minutes.
2 more. Because it's about to turn to 58. So do you have anything? Do you have 2 minutes worth of content? Zachary?
What's your favorite D&D class?
Fighter, obviously.
What's your
Fighter.
second favorite D&D class?
Barbarian.
All right, mix the two together. That's your next character when we play my campaign.
Fighter Barbarian. What are your 2 least favorite classes?
Monk is definitely not one of my 2 least favorite classes because
boy.
it is actually very powerful.
Look at that chunky side.
Oh my god.
Ooh, boy. Ooh, all the
I
feet
have a
addicts
very,
got excited.
very
All the
strong for Monk.
Otter, you do realize if this podcast and it goes anywhere, Show Feet Guy is gonna be all on top of that video
yeah.
you just showed.
Oh yeah, them pale pasty toes.
Don't you dare!
Don't you
know?
Oh.
You're giving them too much content. That's more content than we could ever use.
That's more content. We're not on OnlyFans
Seriously.
yet.
Yes. Yes.
We both said it at the same time.
Anyway.
My head.
That's what we're here for. Keep you alive.
Keep you alive.
I would prefer to die.
That's why we keep you alive.
That kind of reminds me of that like image where this guy goes, "My brother was killed, and I will have my revenge." And then elf guy goes, "You have my bow," and the dwarf goes, "You have my axe," and then the necromancer goes,
"And
"And
your
you have
brother."
your brother," and you're like, "Whoa, whoa." Uncalled for.
Doesn't that beat the purpose of having revenge? You just bring back your brother.
Well, I thought he brought him back as a zombie, so it wasn't actually his
Same
zombie.
difference.
They still undead.
I mean, I guess it depends on how he's brought back.
Well, it's a necromancer. It's not like a fairy resurrection. This is like a goddamn necromancer. Anyway, that's all the content we have for tonight. We'll see you next week. Otter, thank you for coming on, talking about D&D with us, sharing our stupid moments, and thank you for your struggle.
Oh yeah,
It has become our struggle.
struggling to stay
Struggling.
on topic.
Good night,
Yep.
everyone.
Ciao.
Love you guys. Take care, Otter.